Hey everybody, it's Max Action here, and welcome back to another episode of Build Something With Me, where we are taking your ideas, the 90-day plan that you created, and we're going to start implementing that and taking action to create something magnificent over the next 90 days. Now, today, we're going to be working with an idea that holds a lot of people back at this point in the game, right at the beginning. And it's the big procrastination. That idea that you're going to do something later, and then later comes and you're still not ready to do it. Now, procrastination has become something that really holds a lot of creators and coaches back. And simply because they're putting what they need to do right now off until some point in the future, where they promise themselves they're going to do it, and yet more things happen and those tasks don't ever end up getting done, and you never get the goal that you wanted because you didn't take action on it. So we're going to start going over what procrastination is and some different ways of overcoming that. But first, let me give you an update on where I'm at. So currently, I have created my goal setting guide that I'm going to be giving away for free on my website. And I've built that website. It's looking great. I've got my blog going, so I'm consistently posting to that, which is fantastic. And good news, I'm gaining some followers on some of my other platforms, which is great. This consistency of action is building. And I know that if you're being consistent too, doing one little thing each day, you're going to be consistently growing as well. And I'm excited to see where you're at the end of 90 days. Now, I'll give you some more stats on what's going on with the website and the opt-ins and all that good stuff in a later video, but it's looking great. And we're just going to keep staying consistent with it. We're going to keep building, and things are going to look really good. So let's get to it. Procrastination. What does that look like for you? If you're a creator, does that look like you're pushing away making the videos, making the content? Are you having difficulty coming up with content ideas routinely and you just wait to do something? If you're a coach, are you hesitating on talking to new people and telling them what you do? Are you slacking off on getting that website created that you were promising yourself that you were going to do? So you've created your 90-day plan where we've taken our goal and we've broken it down into 3 months, broken those months down by weeks, and broken those weeks down by days. So you should have one goal that you have for each day to do. One thing that you need to accomplish each day. And so are you accomplishing that task that's going to move you closer each day to your stated goal that you want to get to? If you're having difficulty doing that, or if there's been a couple of days that have been a little rough and you haven't gotten it, you haven't accomplished it, don't beat yourself up over it. It's not going to help. Instead, refocus yourself on what you need to do to take action. And if that's because of procrastination, realize we're going to cover that right now. And this is some stuff that I want you to start using from now on. Now, procrastination is the idea that we're going to do something later. And a lot of people try to focus on fixing their procrastination. But what they don't realize is procrastination is really just a symptom of a much larger underlying problem. It's just the cough or the fever to the flu that you actually have. The cough and the fever are not the big problem. Those are just symptoms. We're looking at what the real underlying viral infection is. So for this type of thing, we need to figure out what's causing that procrastination. Now, before we get into that, let's look at a few things that you may have tried before that just don't work to overcome procrastination. Now, for some people, it's the just do it, right? Just do it mindset. And that's Nike's slogan. And the thought is, if it was easy to just do it, then wouldn't it have already been done by now? If you could just do it and it was that easy, then you wouldn't be procrastinating right now. But you are. So let's figure out what it is. The other thing is saying this is willpower. And I lump willpower in with discipline. because there's this thought that you just got to bring your willpower out. You just got to be disciplined and just take action. Even though you don't feel like doing it, you just have to be disciplined and just do it. And while that works on a surface level, and that sounds like it would be an ideal, realize that's not the way normal people work. You haven't trained yourself to be disciplined. You haven't trained yourself to just summon this massive amount of willpower at a moment's notice. And it's almost like saying if this discipline and willpower were available to you, then the problem just doesn't exist at all anyway. But there is a problem. There is something that exists. And we have to accept that. We have to acknowledge it. Because if we don't acknowledge that a problem exists, that there's a reason that you're procrastinating on something, then there's nothing that we can do to fulfill it. It's just the idea of that you end up with that you're not enough. And you are enough. We just have to figure out how to get around and work with the way we normally are to overcome the procrastination we have. One of the other things that people say to do to overcome procrastination that really doesn't work is the just do this thing the first thing in the morning, which is a great idea. Get the big thing that you've got to do out of the way first thing, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. But again, this is something where if you're procrastinating on it and you really don't want to do it, then sticking it at the first thing in the morning isn't going to matter if you push it off until later on in the day. Because then you push it off until later on in the day, and then later on in the day comes and you still don't want to do it. And then it gets pushed off to another day, and then another week, and then another month. And it just goes on and on and on. You keep procrastinating on it because you don't want to do it. So those are some ways that overcoming procrastination that really don't work because it doesn't address what procrastination really is. Now, procrastination, the underlying problem with it is it's simply a matter of pleasure versus pain. The pain-pleasure principle, if you've ever heard it put that way. And whenever you're procrastinating on something, that means you're avoiding whatever it is because you've linked in your mind massive amounts of pain to doing it. So if it's creating content online, making videos, and you're procrastinating, you've linked pain to that. Maybe that pain is an uncertainty of how the video is going to come out. Maybe that pain is the feeling that I need this video to be perfect and I don't feel it is. Maybe that pain is saying, I don't know what people want to watch. I don't know what they would like seeing. And anyway, it's painful. That uncertainty is pain. And when you've associated that to whatever action you need to take, you're going to be more likely to avoid it than to attack it. Now, the thing is the flip side of that is something that's pleasurable. So if pleasure to you means sitting in the bed and watching TV, you're going to be more likely to do that versus tackling something that could revolutionize your life. Why? Because it's more pleasurable to watch TV than it is to go do the thing that you don't want to do, the thing that you don't feel confident in. So we've got to switch this now. We have to figure out how are we going to link massive amounts of pleasure to doing the thing that you don't want to do. Because most people realize that doing this thing is going to lead to a good outcome. If I eat better and exercise more, I'm going to look better. If I do my videos consistently, I'm going to be able to become a creator much faster than if I do them once every other week. If I'm more consistent with reaching out to new clients or talking to new people and telling them about what I do, I'm going to get more clients as a coach. But they don't do that. Why? Because they're worried about more of avoiding pain in the short term than worried about long-term pleasure. See, we focus ourselves right here in the present moment. What's currently causing pain and how can I avoid that and seek pleasure? So we have to link up pleasurable feelings with the thing that would normally feel like we're causing pain. So how do we do that? Well, number one, let's take this from the perspective of a content creator. So when you get in front of the camera and you're ready to hit record, I want you to get in an excited state. I want you to feel absolutely jazzed about doing this. Jump up and down, get your body moving. If we're sitting here, and I'm sitting just like this, and my body language is saying, I really don't want to do this, what am I going to experience? I'm going to experience those feelings of pain, those feelings of uncertainty. I'm going to feel like I'm not ready to take action. I'm not ready to do something. And then that starts causing you to want to beat yourself up, saying, well, if I really knew what I was doing, then I would take action. I would be able to use my willpower and push through this. Instead, make it a game. Make it something that's fun to do. Make it exciting that you have, if you have a competition with somebody, and you can say, I enjoy doing this with somebody else, so I've linked more pleasurable experiences to what I'm to making content than not. So here's what I did, and here's how I did it for myself. I used to have unimaginable pain standing in front of the camera. I would constantly get frustrated with myself, thinking these videos aren't perfect. This isn't good enough to be able to put out. This doesn't showcase how good I actually am. And so every single time I would hit record, I would immediately shut down, say a few words, turn the camera off, delete it, and then try it again for about another hour before I just quit altogether. But what did I do now? I decided that had to change because there was no way I was going to be able to be successful if I just kept procrastinating and pushing off and not wanting to do it again and again. So I changed it. Instead, I decided I'm going to be up. I'm going to be excited. I'm just going to be this big, motivational, out there type of personality and just be crazy and wild on this video and not care how it came out. And some of these videos, as you've seen, are not fantastic yet. But over the course of time, they're going to get better. You just keep watching and you're going to see. But now I feel so comfortable in front of the camera because now I've linked that pleasure into my body. So every time, and you don't see this because this is off camera, but after I finish creating a video, I celebrate. I go, yes, I did it. I did it and it was good and it was wonderful and we're going to do another one again tomorrow. And I'm linking those good feelings, this excitement into my body. And as I link that excitement into myself, it makes me excited to do it again the next day. The worst possible thing I could have done, and I kept doing it day after day after day, was starting to make a video and then hitting stop and just getting down on myself. Because it's so much easier to get down on yourself and tell yourself all the things that you did wrong than to be excited about all the things that you did right. We're so quick to punish ourselves for making a mistake, and we're slow to congratulate ourselves for doing something well. So whenever you're making your new video, don't wait to congratulate yourself until you got 10 videos in. Do it just because you hit record today. Do it when you publish something. Encourage yourself time and time and time again. Because the more times that you reinforce those positive feelings to yourself, the more you're going to link up those positive feelings with what it is you're doing. And I'll tell you this, if you are just starting out, your first 20 hours of doing this are going to be terrible. Let's just accept that for what it is. They're going to be bad. Things are going to feel uncomfortable, but yet get through it. Get through those first 20 hours and congratulate yourself every single step of the way. Everything that you do requires you and is what's the word I'm looking for? You are worthy of having that congratulatory routine, right? You are worthy of having that celebration. You don't have to do massive things in one day. Just the act of you starting something is worthy of celebrating. Why? Because it links that pleasure into your body. It overwrites that whole old programming that being uncomfortable is a reason to feel pain. Because the more pain that you feel, the less likely you're going to want to do something. I'll tell you something else. One of the creator friends that I know, she would start trying to make a video, and then all of a sudden, everything else seemed more important to do in that moment. Taking out the trash seemed like a great idea. Cleaning up the kitchen seemed like a great idea instead of making her video. Because while she wasn't a fan of taking out garbage or cleaning up a kitchen, it represented more immediate pleasure in the short term than the fear of creating a video. Kind of weird, huh? But that's the thing, is she's looking at it short term. Now, long term, that would definitely mean creating a video would create far more pleasure than not doing it. But she's just thinking short term. We want to think long term. So let's look at some questions. I've got some questions here that you should be asking yourself to help overcome those feelings of procrastination. And so the first question is it going to matter if you do it in the first place? Right? So let's cut that out, because there's some things that you're going to procrastinate on that are constantly rolling around in your mind as an open loop that literally are not going to matter if you never do them. So let's figure out right off the bat, does this thing even matter if I accomplish it? Does the grass need to be mowed right this second? Probably not. Does this video need to be created right now? If you're a content creator, the answer is yes. Yes, it does. But let's look at any tasks that you feel you have to do. Ask yourself if it's in alignment with that 90-day goal that you're setting. If it's not, then it's an immediate no, because focusing on your goal is the number one most important thing, because you've committed to doing it. You've committed the resources of your time, your energy, your action, your focus. And with that commitment comes the action that gets you to the goal. And everything else is an automatic no, because it doesn't get you any closer to where you want to be. We want to focus only on taking the action that's going to get you further than all of the other things that aren't going to make any bit of difference. Now, the second question is going to be, can somebody else do it? If you don't like mowing the lawn, hire somebody else to do it. If you don't like posting your content, it just takes time, it's cumbersome, hire somebody else to do it. If you don't like editing your videos, just hire somebody else to do it. Or just cut off the front and the back and call it a day. It doesn't have to be perfect right now. It just has to be out there. So if there's something that you can do that makes it easier, if you can get somebody else's help to do all the things that you don't want to do or don't like doing or are going to procrastinate on, and you can get somebody else to do it, then do it that way. And it alleviates you from those tasks. It takes them right off your plate, so you don't have to worry about it. And you can just focus on the things that you do best, which is what you should be focused on in the first place. Now, question 3 is, what's going to happen if you do this thing that you're procrastinating on? What's the pleasurable outcome that you can have by doing this? If you're a content creator, it's you're growing your audience. You're getting them excited. If you're a coach, it's you're getting more clients into your practice. But the big thing is what happens long term. If you're looking long term and you're creating an audience and you're growing a business, that might mean you can help retire your parents. That might mean you can give your kids the things that that you thought that they could never have. You can put them in the sports that they wanted to be in. You can help them go on the vacations that they want to go on. The things that you thought you could never do because you didn't have the resources. But those are the viable outcomes. Those could be what happened if you make those videos consistently today. If you start reaching out to those new people and building up your coaching practice today. That's the wonderful things that could happen. The excitement that could happen. The good feelings connected to the things that you would normally want to procrastinate on. Now, the other question is, what happens if you don't do it? What's the big thing that happens if you procrastinate on it? Well, nothing gets done. You stay exactly where you are. Time keeps ticking by, and you start feeling that pain and the regret of not having done something. Regret is a horrible, horrible feeling to feel, that you get 3, 4, 5 years down the road and you look back and you wish, man, I really wish I would have started sooner. I really wish I would have taken action. And you look back and you realize, even if you screwed up and were terrible, it wouldn't have been detrimental to your life. It wouldn't have killed you. And as a matter of fact, if you started earlier, you would have been better right now. So what's the fallout if you don't take action? If you think back to, say, school, if you had a project or a test that you had to study for, or even work in today's world, you had a project that you had to come up with and finish, and you kept procrastinating on it. You never wanted to do it. You never wanted to take action on it. And then what happened? You kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because starting felt more painful than just buckling down and doing the thing. So you kept associating pain to getting started, and then the moment before it's due, the idea of not having it done was more painful than the idea of doing it. So now all of a sudden you're pulling an all-nighter to get the thing finished. You could have done it the entire time. You just felt the pain of starting. And so we have to flip that script and say, let's associate feelings of pleasure to the things we don't want to do, and feelings of completely overwrite those feelings of pain for all the stuff that we want to be able to do. Overcome the stuff you're procrastinating on by giving yourself pleasurable feelings about it. Stop the procrastination by realizing everything that it's going to cost you. And link those feelings of pain to not doing the thing you need to do, to not taking action toward that goal. Link those feelings of pain thinking about everything it's cost you in the past, everything it's costing you right now, and everything it will cost you in the future. Link that pain up to the idea of not taking action. Make not taking action the most painful thing that you could possibly experience, because we don't decide to actually change until we feel pain in the past, pain right now in the present, and realizing it's going to cause even more pain in the future. Until we feel those feelings of pain in the past, the present, and the future, we're not going to change doing anything. So let's recap here. Whatever it is that you feel that you're procrastinating on right now, I want you to think of all of the wonderful things that are going to happen because you take action on it. I want you to think of all the horrible, painful things that are going to happen if you don't take action on it. Now, excite yourself. Put yourself in an excited state and take the first step toward accomplishing that daily goal, while focusing also on all of the pain that you had in the past, that you feel right now, and that you'll feel in the future if you don't do it. You have the opportunity to take action right now and use this pain-pleasure principle to your advantage rather than having it be something that holds you back. Because as long as you continue to focus on avoiding pain in the immediate right now and procrastinating on all the things that you need to do, that's going to become the routine, and that's not going to get you to where you want to be. Focus on the pleasure. Focus on how wonderful it'll be to accomplish those weekly tasks and build something with me over the next 90 days and see how amazing your life is in a short 90 days just because you're taking action. So get out there, link up those pleasurable feelings, get serious about those negative feelings over procrastination, and take action now.